Good afternoon, everybody. Chris Prescott here with Master CDP Studios coming at you. Today, I'm going to introduce a new segment to my channel. Just going to be another show, if you want to call it that, on the Master CDP Studios channel. I kind of came to the conclusion here to myself that maybe I should save the podcasts for later when I've built my subscriber base, when I have more than 60 people on here, because I'm sure probably at the most, maybe 2 or 3 people are listening to these podcasts. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It just, I need to have more people on my, subscribe to my channel before I start doing things like podcasts. Because I know, a lot of the people that have podcasts have already been established in some way or another. For example, Stone Cold Steve Austin, well-known famous wrestler, has a famous podcast because he was a famous wrestler first, and because he has millions and millions of fans around the world. So I kind of figured, well, maybe I need to do more of the things that Master CDP Studios is about before I start doing a podcast. And of course, the podcasts were more about topics that I'm into and that I know millions of people are, when it comes to pro wrestling and Destiny 2 talk, video game talk. But, obviously, like I said, need to have that subscriber base built up more before I actually have people that are actually interested in the podcast. Because, if I don't have a lot of subscribers, and if I'm not luring more subscribers with, other content, then they're probably not going to want to sit through a podcast of someone that they don't know or have never heard of before. So I figured instead of doing the podcasts, I'm gonna do something that way I can maybe do more videos more frequently. I'm gonna start having different segments. So I'm gonna have a pro wrestling where it's just gonna be all pro wrestling. That's what this one is gonna be. I haven't came up with a name for it yet. It might be called Top Rope Talk, Turnbuckle Talk, Over the Top Rope Talk, Off the Top Rope Talk. It could be anything. I don't know. I got to come up with a name for this segment specifically, but these segments will be for pro wrestling, and then I'll probably do a separate segment where it's, video games, Destiny 2 primarily, and now Fortnite, and soon to be PUBG for Xbox, which leads me into my next little bits of information that I want to give out to anyone that's subscribed to my channel. I'm actually going to be running another giveaway, 2 giveaways, and it'll be for the Curse of Osiris. So Destiny 2's first DLC will be released on December 5th on all platforms, Xbox, PlayStation 4, and PC. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to hold a random Funko Pop giveaway. So all you need to do is tune in to the live stream. Even if you don't tune into the live stream, just comment on that video of the live stream of the Curse of Osiris. Let me know that you're a subscriber, and keep your subscribers list public so that I can see you are, in fact, a subscriber to my channel. And at the end of the day, I will once again randomize the winner, and the winner will receive a random Funko Pop that I go pick up at GameStop. I'm just going to start collecting a few of these Funko Pops and start giving them out for giveaways, little giveaways. I did the $30 gift card giveaway last time for the Destiny 2 live stream, but unfortunately, long story short, someone wanted to disguise themselves as the actual winner and created a fake account with that person's name and everything, and they nabbed the gift card, unfortunately. So for now on, I'm going to do something not as expensive until I, do build up my subscriber base and I'm actually making revenue from YouTube, because it makes no sense also to do big giveaways until I'm actually, making something of this channel. So I'm going to keep it at Funko Pops for now, or just small random collectible gifts. I know a lot of people love collectibles, especially in the realms of video games and wrestling. So I'm going to be holding giveaways with little collectibles like Funko Pops and, keychains or wallets or whatever it may be. So the first one I'll have will be on December 5th. Just subscribe to my channel by then and comment on the Curse of Osiris live stream video that I do that day. Just let me know that you subscribed, and you'll be entered automatically, and then I will run a randomizer on everyone that's entered and pick the winner that way. And then the following week, December 12th, another live stream for the release of PUBG Player Unknown Battleground live on Xbox One. I'm going to hold a live stream on December 12th for that as well. same thing. All you got to do is subscribe to my channel by then. Leave a comment on that video, that particular video that you subscribe to my channel, and I will once again randomize a winner, and they will probably win a Funko Pop or some type of random giveaway. So I'm going to be adding these segments. Like I said, I'm going to be doing away with the podcast, and I'm going to be doing these segments. So for today, we will start with with our pro wrestling segment. Like I said, don't know what I'm going to name this one yet, but I will give it a name, as well as I will give a name for the video game segments, or I might not. It might just be Destiny 2 updates, video game updates, whatever it may be. But for the wrestling one, because that's, my main love. I mean, I love pro wrestling more than I do video games or music. So music and pro wrestling are up there together. But, the pro wrestling will have more of a focused show. I'll have a bigger focus on pro wrestling as far as these segments go, versus the video game segments might just be quick updates, and that's about it. Aside from the video game live streams that I do, which I still plan on doing a lot more of those, since we've been getting into a lot of Destiny 2 and Fortnite action with me and my buddies. So look forward to that. But without further ado, let's get into the first topic of today as far as pro wrestling goes. As you know, we will now be having, first time ever, Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom live January 4th from the Tokyo Dome. This is going to be awesome, and you had to have seen it coming. I mean, the beef that was going on Twitter between Jericho and Kenny Omega, they're bashing each other, some pretty good jabs towards each other, but you had to have known that it was going to build to a match, especially when Omega, one of the last few things that he said over Twitter to Jericho was, why even bother? There's not going to be a match. There's not going to be a payoff. It's just you and I talk, something along those lines, you and I going back and forth on Twitter. So why bother? And that right there already should have said, hey, that's obvious that they're going to be building towards a match against each other. So very excited. And apparently Jericho came up with the idea of having this match take place. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, he burned Vince McMahon and WWE to do this. But no, he actually didn't, because according to Dave Meltzer and, a few of the insiders in pro wrestling, Jericho, which, this shouldn't even been a question, because Jericho has stated before that I'll never wrestle anywhere else other than for Vince McMahon and WWE. And he wouldn't double cross Vince, especially since he's been one of their main guys since he's debuted there in 1999 on Monday Night Raw when they did the whole Y2J countdown. I mean, he's been he was already a star, but he became a superstar. Oh god, I hate that term. A superstar since then, and him and WWE have always done right by each other. So shouldn't have really questioned whether he double crossed Vince or WWE in general to make this match happen. Jericho even said, of course, he asked, he's not signed to a contract to compete with WWE right now. Of course, he probably has the normal Legends, contract and all that good stuff, but he's not signed to compete right now to perform for WWE. But Jericho stated, I still did it out of respect. So he still called Vince, and Vince gave him his blessing, said, hey, you go do it. But see, to me, first off, everyone thought that the reason that they were doing this little Twitter beef, was to build for a cruise match, because as you know, Jericho is having his little cruise that he's throwing with the Rock concert and Ring of Honor wrestlers performing on this cruise. I believe it's called Sea of Honor or something. But everyone expected that that's what this match was going to go for, or that the match was being built for a match on the cruise card, which now we know that is not the case. It's for something even bigger. I feel like this is opening the doors right here. If all Vince has a say in this is, go ahead, Jericho, go do it, and you have my blessing, blah, blah, blah. If that's all it is, if there is nothing further than that, I think this will change WWE and Vince and change their ways. But part of me wants to say that Vince, Jericho, and Kenny Omega and New Japan already have had this worked out, and that it's possible we could see Y2J versus Omega at WrestleMania. So that could be the big swerve here. That could be what we end up finding out from this match. That's going with the thinking that Vince is in on this and that this is a big work, schedule or a big work leading up to a possible big match at WrestleMania. Now, if that's not in, Vince's mind right now, I feel like Jericho and Kenny Omega are going to go out there and they're going to force the hand of change on WWE and Vince. Not to say, oh, let's start working with New Japan and Ring of Honor and do all these little invasion angles and stuff like that, but more, we need to start letting our guys be more free on the mic and as far as creative goes with their character. Because why wouldn't you? Why would Vince sit there knowing the mistakes WCW made, knowing the mistakes he made during the Monday Night Wars? Why would he sit there and being as rich and powerful as he is now and being a money guy, always wanting to make money for the company, making sure the company succeeds? Why would you sit there, watch the Kenny versus Jericho match at Wrestle Kingdom, which is probably going to be, 6-star match according to Meltzer? It's going to be a great match regardless of the star ratings, okay? So we'll just leave it at that. But being Vince McMahon, knowing how the business works, knowing that all it takes is for guys like a Kenny Omega to come along, the Bullet Club, to change the way the business is going, why would you sit there and just not want to have a piece of that pie? Why would you sit there and not think like, maybe I should, give more creative freedom to my wrestlers and maybe let them do stuff like this, go to Ring of Honor or New Japan or wherever is not where I own, and let them shine somewhere else? Because you know what? That brings the attention. Maybe you have the crazy hardcore, quote, hardcore pro wrestling fans who don't watch WWE, unquote, because they think, anything that's not Ring of Honor or New Japan or Bullet Club, they think that if it's not that, it sucks. Basically, if it's WWE, it sucks. That's what they think. But why wouldn't you at least think like, I can bring those fans over to my product? And I'm sure Vince is already thinking this. That's what leads me to believe that they have to be setting up. Maybe not this WrestleMania. Maybe they let everything cool down. They have their match. They have their match at Wrestle Kingdom, and then maybe it's just a big cool down. Maybe Jericho comes back for Mania, and that even builds the anticipation even more, and has even more people suspecting that there could be a match. And then you let it cool off. Maybe they have an altercation on Jericho's cruise with the Sea of Honor event. And then maybe, who knows, Jericho shows up at next year's Royal Rumble. Okay, next year's Royal Rumble. Or sorry, the year after. So it'd be 2019. I know it's a long way to build, but you know what? Jericho and Kenny Omega, they'll do it right. But, you have Jericho in the Royal Rumble of 2019, and then Kenny Omega shows up costing him that match, building to WrestleMania 35 for them to have it. So I don't know. There's a lot of ways they can go with it. That's just fantasy booking on my part. But at the end of the day, I think this match is going to really change WWE and Vince McMahon in their ways. It's going to get their attention, and they're going to be like, man, we got to do something quick here. Because for them, I don't know, like the way I think of it is you'd have to be as stupid as Bischoff and everyone running WCW was to just sit there and let things fall apart and not do anything about it, So I feel like maybe that's already in the cards, a WrestleMania match this year, and Vince and everyone's already on board, and they already know, they already have everything set up. Or at the very least, Vince isn't thinking that already that far in advance yet, and he's going in it with just as a fan, just to watch, one of his boys, one of the guys that he hired in his company take on New Japan's, basically equivalents to Chris Jericho. And maybe that's all he's thinking without putting any thought into it. Maybe he's not really batting an eye about it at all. But I think if he's thinking that way, if that's his mindset going into this, I think that the match with Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho is going to change the way Vince is running things over there in WWE. And on to the next topic here. So, as you may have heard already, last week, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they got kicked off the European tour. A lot of rumors flying around about why they were kicked off the European tour. Everything from not feeding themselves to the New Day, basically not coming back to the ring to get fended off by the New Day and beat up, sent running to the back again, to Kevin Owens being on the bus complaining very loudly about his status in WWE, and also rumors that they were unhappy because of the firing of Jimmy Jacobs and Neville walking out on WWE, not being happy as well. A lot of rumors flying around. Basically, once again, have to refer back to Meltzer. Basically, debunking a lot of those rumors. One, the rumor of Kevin Owens being kicked off the bus, or sorry, complaining loudly on the bus, not being true because Kevin Owens was already sent home. So if he was sent home, he would not have been on the bus. So that's basically the logic on that. Now they're still not sure if not feeding themselves to the New Day is the exact reason. But supposedly that is the word, which still, I mean, I think that's still kind of weird to be sent home. I mean, could it be it's more of a, hey, we got to make an example of these guys. They try to go into business for themselves, and let's, punish them by kicking them off the tour? Could it be a work? Which part of me kind of thinks it may be. Now, they are scheduled to show up for SmackDown tomorrow and face the New Day in a tag team. You know what would be really cool? Now, see, because I'm not sure exactly whether I think it's a work or not. Really not sure at all. It could be. I was thinking, like, could this be a soft way to play off of the cease and desist type thing, and that we're gonna single out these two rebels, and then we're gonna make it like the Machine is out to get them, and we're gonna send them home and punish them and all that good stuff. Like, could that be like what they're playing off of with the Young Bucks, the cease and desist? So who knows? But is it a work? Is it a shoot? Not sure. It just seems kind of weird. Like, that seems really drastic for them to kick Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, two of their, top stars on SmackDown, two of top stars of their top stars on SmackDown, along with many others on SmackDown. But that just seems really drastic to send those guys. But is it because, hey, you guys are experienced, you've been here long enough, not to do this. We got to make an example out of you. Even though it was a small little, thing that you did here, we still got to make an example, and we got to show everyone that, hey, you need to take this seriously. We tell you, we give you an order, a direction, you go out there and you fulfill that order. So could it be that, or could this just be a work? Who knows? Now, what I think, if it's a work, it would be really cool for them, or even if it's not a work and now they want to turn it into a work, what they should do tomorrow is, since they are scheduled to face the New Day, they should have them not come out. So have the New Day come out with their entrance and everything, waiting for Kevin and Sami, and just have them not come out. No sign of them ever. Don't have them come out for the whole SmackDown. And I'll tell you why in my my Survivor Series prediction as I go over that here in a little bit. But I think I feel like I feel like it could kind of be a work. Like I said, it just seemed too drastic for them to send them home off of a big tour, a European tour, where they're sure to have plenty of fans buying their merchandise, I'm sure, and plenty of fans that want to buy tickets to see those guys. So it just seems kind of drastic for that. But, once again, it is showbiz, live television. You need to, the director gives you a job to do and tells you to, say these lines during the scene, and that's what you got to do. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn apparently didn't go back out, run back to the ring to get beat up by the New Day to get sent, running back. So who knows? And will there be any other repercussions other than being sent home from the European tour if this is in fact a shoot? Who knows? We will see. And the next topic here on whatever this show is going to be called, or segment, AJ Styles defeats Jinder Mahal for the WWE Championship on SmackDown Live last week. So, as you know, the match for Survivor Series was supposed to be a champion versus champion match. Brock Lesnar going up against Jinder Mahal So it was billed as the champ, as most of the matches on the card are champion versus champion matches. Um, but Jinder Mahal made the challenge to Brock Lesnar, and it was met with a lot of criticism. A lot of people saying they don't want to see this. A lot of people already saying, "Hey, it's going to be a squash match. Brock Lesnar's going to kill Jinder, and that's going to be it." And then it's going to make the WWE champion look weaker compared to the Universal champion. Which, yeah, that would have been a stupid move to do that. You're trying to build up Jinder as this high-profile heel, international heel, and you want to have him go up against Brock Lesnar. But never mind the fact that already people don't take Jinder serious enough because, he was a jobber most of his time in WWE. And then all of a sudden he's the WWE championship or champion. So, and then the fact that you're going to put him up against Brock Lesnar. I mean, come on, you can't have Brock look weak in front of Jinder. You can't have Jinder look really strong in a match against Brock after, all the stigma that's with Jinder. He's just a jobber. Well, at least everyone looked at him that way until he became champion. But still, people weren't taking him serious, and we're still remembering the jobber from Three Man Band instead of the Indian, the modern day Maharaja as your champion for all of the billions of people in India. So there was already a problem there. Like I said, that stigma that followed Jinder as being a jobber. But they went with a better move here in having AJ Styles defeat Jinder for the WWE Championship. And now you have an even more intriguing match, Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles, first time ever. This is going to be an awesome match. But, a lot of people are wondering now, why did they take it off Jinder? Is it because of low numbers? I mean, yeah, that could be it, because Jinder isn't drawing. He isn't pushing the needle, really. But then again, to be fair to Jinder, this time of year is when WWE does bad in numbers anyways. AJ Styles was champion this time last year, and WWE were still doing bad in numbers. So, you can't really sit there and say, oh, well, he's not drawing. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, he's not. I mean, he's no AJ Styles. He's no Brock Lesnar. But he's also champion during, one of the slow times of the year. It's just kind of like when I did real estate. The best times in real estate was spring and summertime. The worst time, no matter how good of a realtor you are, the worst time was always the holidays, because everyone is, more geared, more focused on the holidays, the events that happen around the holidays. So, that happens. Not to mention there's football on. I know it doesn't come on Tuesday, but still, you have football, you have all these other sports going on. So, yeah, I mean, Jinder as your WWE champion on what, they continuously say, and I hate when they call it this, but they say the B show. It's probably not going to get a lot of viewers there. But, I mean, at the same time, you can't knock on him. I liked him as champ. I think they were doing a good job with him. I think he was doing a good job. Jinder rose to the occasion. He was, like I said, viewed as nothing more than a jobber from 3MB. And then he was inserted into the number one contendership when they had that six-pack challenge, and he won that match. And everyone was really surprised, but thinking, well, he's not going to beat Randy Orton. And then he beats Randy Orton for the title. And he has carried himself like a champion should. Like, he's a good heel. Like, he's a great heel. People are mad because of the thing that he said about Shinsuke, or how he was dissing Shinsuke, saying it was like, I forgot what, I guess everyone was saying it was kind of racial, but I mean, he was just being a heel. If you go and watch TV or a movie and there's the bad guy in there, you're going to hate him, but you're not going to think like, oh, well, that's how that person really is in real life. Now we hate him. Now we got to boycott. No, it's part of the movie. You go to watch the movie for the script, idiot. The WWE is predetermined. The matches are predetermined. Some of these lines are rehearsed, some of them are not. Either way, they're playing characters, the role of characters. Each has their own motive. You have the babyface, which I can't believe I actually have to explain this to pro wrestling fans. You have babyface, the guy that goes out there and gets cheered, the guy that wants your cheers, the guy that you want to cheer for. The heel, he's the bad guy. He's going to say stuff that's going to make you mad, that's going to make you boo him. You're going to hate him, but that's the character. So it really, like, it flabbergasts me when wrestling fans are protesting about something that Jinder said, in regards to, could have been racial or not or whatever. But come on, he's a heel. He's supposed to do these things. So, you know what? Just leave it at that. Jinder was a good heel. Maybe not great champion, obviously, but good heel. I think he did a good job as champion, but, obviously he's not a, legend. He's not, an AJ Styles. He's not a Ric Flair or anything like that. But he was doing good for, the position that he was put in. And, obviously part of the reason, I'm sure, as to why they had him as champ was because of the upcoming Indian tour coming up in December. And now you kind of have to think, like, some people are already thinking, like, oh, that's it. It was his one and done. He's done. But I don't know, because first off, you had Triple H already saying, hey, he's earned my respect. I respect him, and, he's done a good job or whatever. But the fact that now on the Indian tour, since he's not going to be there, for one, this already debunks that he's going to be a 2-time champ by the Indian tour, because those rumors were circulating as well that, oh, well, he's just going to win it back because they have him listed as a 2-time champ on the Indian tour. But I kind of think that's not the case anymore, because now to kind of still give him a high profile match, which kind of tells me, hey, we still want to treat him like a big deal, especially because we're going to India, but we're not going to have the champ on him now. They're having Triple H take on Jinder on the Indian tour. So that tells me, okay, well, they don't want to give up on him yet, but they still want to make him a big deal. They want to keep him relevant for this Indian tour. They wouldn't be having Triple H going out there to face Jinder if they weren't going to take him seriously still. And they're going to have Jinder go against Triple H. Now, the question is, will Triple H be putting Jinder over on this tour? You kind of have to think, well, of course he is, because they're in India. Why would they make all this deal, have all this press about them going into India, making a big deal with Jinder being there, having him go there for all the, the promo work and everything for the tour, only to lose to Triple H on a, nightly basis, or however many dates they're doing this out there in India? I think they're still going to treat Jinder like a big deal, or they're going to still treat him seriously and groom him for more championship runs in the future. And I think the best way to do that is just have him start off with the United States Championship now. Let him get the United States Championship and have a decent run with that before he gets put back in the main title picture. And, a lot of people can also say, or a lot of the rumors going around, is Paul Heyman possibly played a role in the push for AJ versus Brock, which, of course he did, because he wants to put on a great show. And it's not to say that Jinder wouldn't put on a good match with Brock. It's not to say that Jinder is a horrible wrestler or anything. It's just the better match on paper and in the ring physically is AJ versus Brock. That is going to be a crazy match. A lot of people are already talking about, oh, Brock Lesnar's just going to squash. It's going to be the usual squash match of Brock. It's like, no, it's not. First off, Brock hasn't just been doing squash matches. I've been seeing a lot of comments about that. Brock, it's just going to be another typical squash match. That's what we're used to, blah, blah, blah. No, not really, because the only people he squashed over the last few years was Cena, Orton. Everyone else he's had a competitive match with. He had a competitive match with Samoa. Samoa had him in trouble, even though Lesnar won. Braun Strowman, he didn't squash Braun Strowman. Goldberg squashed him last year at WrestleMania. It wasn't a squash match. It was a back and forth match against each other. So I don't know. And then he had a 6-man match, or the 4-way, or the 5-way, the fatal 5-way match. Not a squash match either. So I think the Brock versus AJ match is going to be a great match, despite what a lot of people are already predicting and assuming. It's going to be a great match. You remember CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar, 2013 SummerSlam? Great match. Even though I disagree with the outcome of Brock's first return match in 2012 against John Cena, another great match. It was a match where he dominated, but it wasn't a squash match. So, I just don't understand the notion behind it's just going to be a typical Brock squash match under 5 minutes. It's not going to be that. Paul Heyman, if Paul Heyman is behind all this, it's going to be anything but a quick squash match. It's going to be a great match. It's going to be a great story. A great story is going to be told in the ring, and Paul Heyman is going to be a mastermind behind this. So expect a great match between Brock and AJ Styles, which leads to the next, little note here about AJ beating Jinder, and, also probably debunks a lot of the rumors of Jinder winning back the title from AJ, is that they already started planting the seeds and teasing AJ versus Shinsuke at Mania. At a house show last night or the night before, at the end of it, it was AJ defended the title against Jinder and Shinsuke in a triple threat match. AJ won. At the end of it, him and Shinsuke were in the match. The fans were chanting WrestleMania, and then AJ grabbed the mic. He put the belt down in front of Shinsuke. He's all, do you want to see us at WrestleMania? Because I think that would be too sweet. So I think we know that that's what it's building for. The only thing I can see happening with, as far as Jinder goes, maybe he wins the title back, and then AJ takes it back at Rumble, let's say. I my prediction here, as far as that goes, is AJ is going to hold on to the title, and Shinsuke is probably going to win the Rumble, or at least go on to challenge. Make that be known after they find out that the Raw, a Raw guy won the Rumble. Then it's going to be Shinsuke facing AJ, which they'll probably do the Elimination Chamber match to decide who faces AJ. But it's going to be Shinsuke versus AJ at WrestleMania. No way they can miss out on that money-making match. They already teased that Money in the Bank when they had their little stare-off or face-off. So I think that's where they're going to go with it. But AJ defeating Jinder, more than likely, because, Jinder just wasn't working as far as numbers goes. And, a lot of the people tuning out possibly on the TV, on SmackDown Live, on the show. But, it's not to just completely rule out Jinder. It's not going to rule him out of any future championship opportunities. I don't think so anyways. I think it's just they're just saying, hey, this is not working right now. Let's move on. Let's put the title on someone that everyone loves, that everyone wants to get behind, AJ Styles, and now let's build up this dream match, AJ versus Shinsuke. So, hey, this is the fallout from the AJ defeating Jinder. We're going to get Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles at Survivor Series, and then we're going to get possibly what I'm predicting, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania, which is going to be a great match if that's what happens. This is Chris with Master CDP Studios. Stick around.